Well, it's good to be playing again. We had a 16-day layoff, which, if you think of that, that's more than half of summer camp. It's a very long time to have a football team not play a game. However, we are healthy, so the bye week was a very rigorous week. And this week will be a very rigorous week too, because I want them to be used to playing. We really ratcheted up the physicality, the length of practices, and a lot of good on good, which has really been important for us. Looking forward to homecoming. It's great to be able to play at home again. South Florida is coached by a really good guy, Alex Golesh, but a really good football coach. And this first year, last year, they beat the brakes off us, and they won that game, went to a bowl game. They had two good wins over Alabama, Birmingham, and UAB, where they finished the games very strong. They outscored their opponents 58-6 at the end of those games. We all know what they're like offensively. Alex is very proficient. He's an offensive guy, and he brings with him that very potent, explosive offense. But they're good on defense too. They have a really good defensive front, very active. They're 10th nationally in tackles for loss and 29th nationally in sacks. And they have a defensive tackle, the Gooden kid, who we got to handle him up front. He leads them with 7 tackles for loss. Offensively, they're big on the offensive line. They have 2 good running backs, and they have multiple good receivers. And 38 is a guy he killed us last year. Unfortunately, he's back. I wish he would have graduated, but he's back. And they have a good receiving group, long receiving group. They have 2 good quarterbacks. We don't know which one will play. We played against Brown last year, and I think he's a kind of a superstar. And then Archie has been filling in for him and is playing better every week. So he's a big, strong kid. He's a baseball player at South Florida. He can throw it. He can run it. And so it's going to be a really, really big test for us. And I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, with that long layoff, obviously the goal at this point is win out and make that bowl game. What was the messaging like?
The goal is this game, to win this game. That's the goal. We're not talking about bowl games or winning out. This is the most important game because it's the next game. And that's how we're talking about it.
Coach, you kind of already started to answer part of my question, talking about, obviously, Byron Brown, with a chatter that he might be back, and then Archie. What's the biggest differences you've seen between those two guys, and how challenging will it be to prepare for either of them?
Well, Brown has, he has a lot of, he has more experience, even though he's young, than Archie. But they're both really good players, and we saw Brown last year, and he had an unbelievable day against us. He can run it, he can throw it, but Archie can do the same. And obviously, Brown is more experienced, but they're two. We're preparing for both, because we think both will be ready.
This long break you guys have had, what have you noticed about the guys that come back, especially this week in practice, and still hungry for that next game with this point in the season? And just what do you see from them, especially early this week in practice?
Well, they're football players, right? We got a bunch of tough guys on our football team, and they love ball. They're ball players, and so if you're a ball player, you want to play ball. And we've had a week off, but not really, And they've had it's been so far really good days of practice, and we are healthy. So that's good for us. If we can get through tomorrow and Thursday healthy, we that'd be great for us.
Second bye week of the season. How much did you guys maybe change from how you handled last bye week to how you handled this one? Obviously, very different opponents coming out of it.
Good question. We were much tougher this week. I did not like how we opened the game at Navy. After the bye week, I thought we weren't ready to play in the beginning, and we settled in and played actually well after that disastrous first quarter, but we're not going to let that happen this week, which is why we pushed them so hard.
And that intensity, especially early in practice, just almost set that tone of, hey, right when we're starting football, we need to be on from the beginning. How do you set that tone in practice?
Well, it's easier with these guys than most because they love to play, but made it very clear to them that I was not letting them get off the field with a bad practice. So that means it takes 90 minutes or 2 hours. That's good. If it's going to take 2.5 hours and we have to start periods again, we're going to do it. And if it's going to take 8 hours, we're going to do it. So decide what you want to do.
Earn the right to start at quarterback this week.
Hmm?
Who has earned the right to start at quarterback this week?
Well, I don't think either one of them played very good the last game. And so, again, it's a competition. Both kids have played well. I'll know that on Thursday, but I was not pleased with either one of them last week, that's for sure.
Strength on strength. What do you like about the way your defense is able to handle multiple quarterbacks? Because you guys are able to funnel in multiple quarterbacks as well. How do you like the way they handle that?
You got to play against who's playing, and you can't, be so different that if they play one quarterback over another, it's like a totally different deal. There are nuances in it, but this is going to be our 10th week, a 10th game of the season, 12th, 13th, 15th week with camp. I mean, we are who we are. We do what we do. And so they just need to do that well. And no matter who's playing for the other team or who's playing for us in practice.
Focus change as a coach when you do have that foundation laid. Everyone kind of knows what's going on. How does it change as a coach once you've established that and now you can maybe focus on some other things as the season goes?
Well, we're pretty baked at this point, right? So what we're trying to do is clean up what we do. Get better at what we do well, but spend a lot of time on what we don't do well and get proficient in that. And so it's really monotonous and it's mundane and it's keep doing the same thing right, so you can't do it wrong. And which is why the last 2 weeks we had I'll just blow the whistle and say we're starting that period over again. And they've not pushed back on that at all. Actually, they've been in agreement with it. So that's been good.
Game, I asked a question about the defensive backs and the secondary, and how have you seen their growth throughout the second bye week and maybe in the practice this week? Has anything improved or anything caught your eye that would signify that they will be better moving forward?
Well, this is a tough league to play secondary in because everybody slings it around so much. And, we got to get some pass rush to help those guys too. And so it's a combination of things. I do like the guys that are back there playing. I think that Ali has had a good year. He's playing well. I really like the fact that we've inserted Mordecai McDaniel back there. He's a really good player. And then, of course, having JQ back has just really, really been great for us. I think the corners have played well in spurts, but we got to get off the field on third down. That's everything. We're getting people on third down. We're not getting off the field on third down. We got to do that. But it's a combination of things. Like, we got to get some pressure on guys without blitzing, right? We got to get some four-man pressures on guys. So, we don't put our defensive backs in such a big deficit.
Obviously momentum is big in any part of football, but with the third down issues, how much of that can also become a momentum thing where once you guys start to hold guys on third down, then it almost becomes you have momentum in that way.
It's enormous, really. I mean, Luke, it's a big shot in the arm to get off the field on defense, and of course the defense loves it, and the offense of course loves it because they get the ball back. So it's really so converting third downs on offense and getting off the field on defense really important. We did that against ECU, and when we do that, we're a pretty good football team. When we don't, we're not.
Dre, Coach brought up, you can't look too far ahead at this point in the season. You just have to focus on one game at a time. As just a team, how are you guys doing that? How are you making sure the focus stays South Florida and kind of nothing outside of that?
Well, honestly, we're just, like you said, we're just preparing for the next game. We're more so just focusing on what we need to do, as a defense or as a team, basically, to make sure that we're technically sound and basically fundamentally sound.
This could be for both of you guys. Coach had brought up this bye week was a little rougher. We wanted to be more physical during this bye week, not maybe use it as much for rest. How have you seen guys respond to that, to a bye week where you're being a little more aggressive, you're being a little more physical?
Yeah, I mean, we responded great. We had 3-4 great days of practice, and everyone had their nose down and we were working. So just trying to get back in the winning column.
Yeah, basically the same thing. Like we just, it's just time to really, really step up. Basically, the physicality part of the bye week was to basically just get us mentally prepared. So we didn't come into the game like not focused or not prepared. Basically.
I mean, we always want to win, obviously. But I mean, we focus. Coach Miller always says focus on one game at a time. So we can't really look too far ahead. Obviously, we do want to make a bowl game, and that's one of our priorities. But we got to focus on UCF.
Conference play. Before the season, we talk about you get into American Athletic Conference play. What's jumped out to you about just the level of this conference, especially as you guys have really held your own and won a couple games already?
It's a very physical conference. Can't take nothing from no team. Every team that we played against was good. It's just an execution thing for us, basically.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, all the teams are good. I mean, it's football. So it's always just fun to play, no matter which conference you're in. I think the players.
And so for Dre, looking at USF, knowing they have two quarterbacks that can suit up this week, one's been injured, but what do you see from either of those guys in film that will present a challenge for you guys come Saturday?
Both of them are very good. Really, the focus is, as always, to stop the run. We're basically not saying that we're not ready for them, but we're basically preparing for the backs, more so than anything because they are a run-heavy team, and that's all we're doing.
Brought up when you guys played Navy, a little bit of a slow start out of the bye week. Maybe didn't start as fast. Henry, what do you see as your role in getting this team started fast? Obviously, from that returner position, you've done it a couple times this year. What do you see as your role in being able to spark this team a little bit at the beginning of the game?
I'm always blessed because I get to touch the ball first. So I mean, I get to go out and have a good first play and set up the offense. And just being the spark plug guy, especially.
For you, it's getting that pass rush started, getting that momentum. How important is that in just getting the entire defense kind of rolling at once from that pass rush?
It's very important because the pass rush is very important because we're trying to get the quarterback out of his element and that's the biggest focus. We get him flustered and whatever, we can win any game.
As it relates to that, Coach mentioned getting off the field on third down is critical. In the Tulane game, several third down conversions. What do you do as maybe a pass rusher to, get the quarterback off kilter and maybe give your cornerbacks, keep them from having to cover less time?
For us as a front, we just got to balance up the rush. Get a lot of penetration up front, and that also helps within the back end because we get him off of his normal target and get him out his keys, and everything will be straight.
Brought up, we learned some stuff as a coaching staff about how to handle a bye week when we had the first one. But you guys as players, what do you feel like you learned from that first bye week that maybe you're able to apply to this one to maybe get a little more out of it as a player?
I would say just just work. Like this bye week, we were working, like we were practicing. Like, I think the first bye week we only had like 2 practices. This bye we get like 4 like hard practices.
Really, the focus this bye week was like a mental focus. I would say, we as a defense, we more so worked on our alignment and assignment, basically making sure that we have the right reads, the right hands, the right pad level, right everything. That was a big focus for us on this bye week.
Stuff start to slow down at this point in the season when you kind of know exactly what you're being asked to do. You've done it a bunch of times to this point. How much does the game almost start to slow down when you kind of know all those things and you can more just react to each play?
It slows down tremendously, especially, I can speak for the front guys only. Well, for us being up front, as long as we're in our right assignment, right alignment, where everything will be like handled, taken care of.
What he said. We've been running these plays for like since the spring, so just as long as we know what to do, I'm like confident that we execute. Comfortable and confident.
Players, with this being homecoming, Coach mentions a lot that you guys like playing at home. You like playing in front of that home crowd. With it being homecoming, the crowd will likely be out in full force. What can you guys, as players, expect from Niner Nation come this weekend?
Well, I know they're going to be excited. Like you said, it's homecoming. We got a big game coming up on homecoming, so they're going to be very excited, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be loud.
I expect them to pack it out too and be screaming and yelling. So excited is always a great atmosphere at home. So we love playing the show.